Hello friends, today we are going to see nuclear power plant and solar power plant, and in especially solar power plant we are focus on water freon kind of solar power plant. Okay, so let's start today's video. So first we are going to check out how nuclear power plant works. But before that, let me clear some basic idea of nuclear power plant. So from the name, it is suggested that we are going to use some nuclear fuel, correct? And most commonly used nuclear fuel is a uranium. In especially India, we use normally thorium, plutonium. So there are number of uranium nuclear fuels which are used as an energy source in nuclear power plant. But how it generate a heat energy? So imagine this is suppose a first uranium one atom, okay, and it having a molecular mass 235 U 235. When we bombard this uranium with a neutron, so what happened when this neutron added to this? So it become unstable. So it become uranium 236. Before bombarding the neutron, whatever be the uranium 235, it is a stable form. And when we bombard this with the help of neutrons, so it become unstable. And when it unstable, it is split out, that will break into two parts. One is a barium, which having a molecular mass about 144, and second part is a krypton, which having a molecular mass 89. But when it split, then along with this barium and krypton, there will be emission of another 3 neutrons. So 3 neutrons will emit. Now what happened with these 3 neutrons? These 3 neutrons will bombard the second atom of uranium. So in this splitting process, there is an evaluation of heat energy, extreme high heat energy. So neutron is bombarded on uranium, then uranium become unstable. This unstable uranium split into barium and krypton, and during the splitting, additional 3 neutrons are emitted, and this process is known as fusion. And during this fusion process, heat is evolved, and the amount intensity of heat is very large. Next, whatever be the neutron emitted during this fusion process, that neutron again strike on a next uranium atom, and it get again split. And this kind of process is continue, that is called a chain reaction. If we are not going to control this chain reaction, then it will be act like a nuclear bomb. But for power generation, we have to control this. So we normally control the emitted neutron. So in a reactor itself, we use some absorbing material. So that absorbing material, what did they absorb? The excess neutron. Suppose first fusion, there are 3 neutrons emitted, so that absorber absorb 2 neutrons, so there will be 1 neutron only. Then 1 neutron will strike on second uranium, then it will split, again there will be 3 neutrons, out of that 2 will absorb. So like that we can control the chain reaction and control the heat rate. When we want to shut down nuclear power plant, we add the absorber, and all absorber absorb completely all emitted neutrons. So there will be zero neutron. That means your fusion process will stop. When your fusion process is stopped, that means your reactor gets stopped and your power plant going to shut down. So this kind of reaction take place in nuclear power plant, and this is not a part of our power plant explanation. Okay, this is for the sake of knowledge, because in your exam it is never asked to how the nuclear energy is evolved or what is the fusion process. They will ask draw neat sketch on explain nuclear power plant. So now on your screen there is a schematic representation of nuclear power plant. Okay, so let's start one by one. I am going to explain how it is working. So if you observe, so this turbine, then generator, then step up transformer, then this HT line and this HT lines cable and that transmission system. So this part remain as it is in every power plant. Okay. So what is the change in nuclear power plant? As I said, in nuclear power plant, we are using radioactive fuel, nuclear fuel, maybe plutonium, maybe uranium, maybe thorium. So there is a possibility of spreading of nuclear reactivity. So our nuclear power plant is divided in two parts. First part up to this, which is playing a part or playing a role with nuclear fuel only. So this nuclear fuel or radioactivity content or fluid is not passed on to second system, and second system will having steam. So there are two working fluid. One is a coolant. Coolant pass through these nuclear reactors. So obviously coolant having some reactivity, radio reactivity. So we can't allow that coolant to run turbine because there is a chances of leakage, and everyone knows what are the adverse effect of radioactivity, correct? So nuclear power plant is divided into two parts. One is a coolant, which is directly come in a contact of a nuclear reactor, and second is a steam. Now how it is work? So there is a one core where we have that fusion reactions, and in core there are some nuclear rods, fuel rods. There are some absorbers which absorb the excess neutrons. There are some shields itself to restrict the spreading of radioactivity. So such kind of reactor is there, that is called a core. And when fusion take place, so tremendous heat is evolved. So this core will get melt. So we have to cool down that. So we supplied a coolant. So what is the role of coolant? When coolant pass through this core, so it will extract the heat of that fusion. It become hot coolant, and that hot coolant will pass on. So continuously that hot coolant pass on to heat exchanger. So core is the main source of heat energy, where we have a nuclear fusion reactions and we have a heat generation. Okay, and to cool down this core, we supplied a coolant. Second, thermal shield. As I said, there is a tremendous heat generated, so no one can work nearby this core. So we have to shield the thermal radiation, heat. So core is surrounded by thermal shield. Okay, but thermal shield is not enough to restrict spreading of radioactivity. So that property having a cement. So after thermal shield, there is a concrete shield. So concrete shield having a property to restrict the radioactivity. So Core, where we have nuclear fuel and we generate a heat. Then this core is surrounded by a thermal shield, and thermal shield is surrounded by a heavy cement concrete shield. Okay, thermal shield used to restrict the thermal radiation, and concrete shield is used to restrict the radioactivity radiations. Now we have to supply a coolant to cool down this core reactor, so that coolant become a hot, and hot coolant is passed through a heat exchanger. So this hot coolant, which may affected by radioactivity, so this hot coolant may have a radioactivity, so we are not using this for a secondary system. We are using this hot coolant to pass through the heat exchanger, where it is exchange heat to the second fluid. So hot coolant will enter into this heat exchanger, and cold water will enter into this heat exchanger in opposite direction. When hot coolant pass through heat exchanger, it will exchange heat to the incoming water. That water get converted into steam. So hot coolant deliver heat to the incoming water in heat exchanger, and when it become colder, so that cold coolant again recirculate to the core. So core continuously cool down, that coolant become hot. Hot coolant will pass through heat exchanger, where it exchange heat to the incoming water, it become cold, and that cold coolant again recirculate. So we are separating this coolant which may have radioactivity. So we are controlling spreading of radioactivity here. Now what happened to second side? When hot coolant exchange heat to the incoming water in a heat exchanger, then due to that heat, steam is generated. So high pressure, high temperature, superheated steam is generated. Now this superheated steam we allow to pass through a steam turbine. When this high pressure, high temperature, superheated steam pass through a steam turbine, so during its pass, it expand, and that expansion forces apply on a rotor, and that rotor of turbine start rotating, and that rotation or that shaft output, rotary shaft motion, it is attached to the generator. So we are now converting this high pressure, high steam, superheated steam energy into mechanical work in the form of rotation of shaft, and this mechanical work is supplied to the generator unit. Obvious, there is a generation of electric power, but as I said, electric power has to be step up before it transmit to various distribution point. Why step up? To reduce or to minimize the transmission losses. So whatever be the generator generate electric power, that power is sent to step up transformer unit, where it is a step up, and then with the help of high tension transmission lines, so HT lines, high tension transmission lines, so with the help of HT lines, we distribute this generated power to various distribution point. Now what happened to the second part? When the steam pass through this steam turbine, almost its energy is utilized to convert into mechanical work. Then whatever be the exhausted steam is there, remember I am saying exhausted steam, still it is not converted into a liquid, it is a steam form, but now it having a lesser pressure, lesser temperature, but it is still in a gaseous form. So exhausted steam, so almost its all energy is utilized to run the turbine. Now whatever be the exhausted steam, we have to cool down by using a condenser. So in a condenser, we supply cooling water. So steam enter into the condenser, pass through these tubings, and cooling water circulates surrounding this tube. So steam deliver its heat to the cooling water, and that steam get condensed, convert into liquid form, and this cooling water become a warm. This warm cooling water will then supply to cooling tower, where it cool down and again recirculate to condenser. So in a condenser unit, exhausted steam get converted into liquid form, phase change take place, and that condensed steam, that is a liquid form, is called as a condensate. Now this condensate we are feedback to the heat exchanger again. No doubt, if our quantity of this water is reduced, because of there may be a chances of leakage of steam and everything. So if the quantity of water is reduced, then we supplied a fresh new water also along with this condensate. But we have to recirculate all this system. So there are two possibilities, that if this steam or this water passing through heat exchanger, if it is radioactivated anyhow, then that should not be directly remove out to anywhere. We have to we have some protocol, we have some guidelines to destroy radioactivity fluid or material. So we have to follow that. So this is the whole working. So if in a short, if I am going to repeat the working, so I will, if I am able to draw this diagram, then just put this diagram sketch detail in a words, so that words will be like this. Definitely this question is for 6 marks, so 3 marks for your diagram, 3 marks for your description. So for 3 marks point of view, I am going to explain how what will be the working of this power plant. So in nuclear power plant, there is a one core where we have a nuclear fuel, and due to fusion reaction, heat is generated into the nuclear in a core. There is surrounded by a thermal shield to restrict the thermal radiation, and thermal shield is surrounded by a concrete shield to restrict the radioactivity spreading. When the heat is generated in a core, so to cool down that core, we supplied a coolant. During passing of that coolant through core, that coolant become hot. That hot coolant is passed through a heat exchanger, where it exchange its heat to incoming water. And whatever be the coolant cool down after delivering a heat, that cold coolant will recirculate again to the core. In a second system, incoming water in a heat exchanger receive a heat from hot coolant, and it converted into steam at a high pressure, high temperature, superheated steam. Then this steam is allowed to pass through a steam turbine, where it produces a mechanical work in a form of rotation of shaft. This mechanical work is supplied to generator unit, where electric power is generated. This generated power is then sent to step up transformer unit, where it is a step up to reduce the transmission losses. And with the help of HT lines, high tension transmission lines, it is distributed to various distribution points. Now whatever be the exhausted steam from the steam turbine, it is passed through a condenser, where cooling water extract the heat of that exhausted steam, and that steam converted into liquid form, that is called a condensate. And this condensate is again feed back to the heat exchanger by using a feed pump. So this is the working of nuclear power plant. Now the second is, what are the advantages? So in our advantages, if I am choosing the nuclear power plant, so nuclear fuel will be there, and nuclear fuel having a high density energy source. High density energy source, why I am saying this? Because 1 kg of nuclear fuel is equivalent to 4,500 tons of coal. So whatever be the energy generated by 1 kg of nuclear fuel, it is equivalent to 4,500 tons of coal burning, or it is again equivalent to 2,000 tons of oil burning. So you can imagine what is the density of energy is there in nuclear fuel. So that is the first advantage. Second advantage, it does not emit any kind of ash particle or smoke, or even though CO2. CO2 is there, but very less in amount. Next, uranium fuel produce a clean energy. Clean energy, I am saying about the energy generation in terms of air pollution, soil pollution, or water pollution. In that respect, it produces clean energy. But definitely there is a drawback of nuclear radioactivity. Okay, so whatever be the parts or even the coolant, if we observe that now we have to top up the coolant and previous coolant we have to replace, then that coolant is radioactivated. We can't throw it in a regular fashion. We have to follow the guidelines to destroy the radioactivity material, and accordingly we have to destroy all the things, because all material, all cores, everything is radioactivated there. So that is a drawback. Next, advantages wise, fuel amount is less, fuel transmission cost is less. So if you are going to run suppose coal power plant for one complete day, so you have to transport a number of railway bogies of that coal fuel. But for a nuclear power plant, you can have a suitcase case, nuclear fuel case, and you can carry it. Correct. So transportation cost of fuel is very less. But the disadvantage is fuel cost is very high. So coal is very cheap, oil is cheap, but the nuclear fuel is very costly. So that is a drawback. Secondly, whatever be the manpower or personnel working there, so they must be skilled worker. In hydroelectric power plant, thermal power plant, semi-skilled worker is okay. But here we require a skilled worker who knows the adverse effect of radioactivity and all. Okay. Next, the maintenance cost. Maintenance cost is very high because everything is radioactivated. Secondly, whatever be the operators, they have to wear that special suit which restrict the radioactivity and all this. So we have to follow all the rules, regulation very strictly in this nuclear power plant. That is a drawback of this. Next is a solar power plant, and here I am choose a solar power plant which is water freon kind of solar power plant. So freon is a refrigerant actually. It is a refrigerant which get vaporized at a room temperature itself. Okay. So we observe that we normally use a water solar heater, but water itself boil at 100 degrees centigrade. So if we want to generate a steam, high pressure steam, then this solar collector or solar water heater is not enough to run the turbine. Okay, so what we did, we use water freon, two systems. So freon, which is normally at atmospheric temperature, get vaporized. If I use a water solar heater to heat the freon, then that freon will heat it to very superheated high pressure temperature freon vapors. So that is the basic concept. Now how it is going to work? So we must have a solar collector, as we have, everyone saw that on a building top there is a solar collector is there. So such kind of solar collector also having a very different forms, different types, different shape and geometries. So here we are considering a basic solar collector, and whatever be the solar rays incident on that solar collector will absorb that heat, and that heat is supplied to the water which is passing through this solar collector tube. So this water get heated, And this hot water, obviously it is a solar collector, water heater, so it is not going to produce a steam, it is just heating that water. And suppose that heated water will reach to 80 degrees centigrade. So this high temperature water, heated water, hot water, is then passed through the heat exchanger. When this hot water, suppose 80 or 90 degrees centigrade, when passed through this heat exchanger, so whatever be the incoming freon is there, so this hot water deliver its heat to this freon, and this freon become a superheated, high pressure superheated freon vapors. Now after delivering this heat, this hot water become cold. This cold water again recirculate through this solar collector. So continuously solar rays incident on solar collector heat up the water, hot water circulate through heat exchanger, where it deliver its heat to incoming freon, and then cold water again recirculate to solar collector with the help of circulating recirculating pump. Now on second side, when freon pass through heat exchanger, it receive heat from hot water, and the freon is a refrigerant which vaporize at a normal room temperature, but when it receive a heat from 80 degree or 90 degree centigrade water, so it converted into very high pressure superheated vapors, so freon vapors. Now these superheated high pressure vapors are allowed to pass through a gas turbine. We are not saying a steam turbine, because if steam is passing through, then it is a steam turbine, otherwise everything is a gas turbine. So when freon pass through this gas turbine, so freon vapors try to expand, and during expansion rotate gate convert this expansion force into mechanical energy in the form of rotation of the shaft. So freon vapors during expansion in gas turbine rotate the gas turbine, and this rotation is supplied to generator. That rotation of shaft is a mechanical energy. So mechanical energy supplied to the generator, where generator generate electric power, and before transmission we have to step up that electric power. So with the help of step up transformer, we step up the generated electric power, and using high tension transmission line, we then supply this to various distribution points. Now what happens to that exhausted freon vapor? So exhausted freon vapors, still it is in a vapor form, it is passed through a condenser, where we supply cooling water extract the heat, latent heat, so that freon vapor get converted into liquid form. So that is a condensate, that is a freon liquid, and that freon liquid again feed back to the heat exchanger. So such kind of solar power plant working take place in water freon kind of solar power plant. Okay, there are variety of solar power plant which we are going to cover in a next lecture, but here we are simply simplified solar power plant, that is a water freon kind of. Now what are the advantages of this? So it having some advantages as well as some disadvantages. Solar energy, it is a free of cost, nobody going to pay it, so that is the advantages. But solar energy is in a very diffuse form. We required collectors, larger size collector to collect it, so that it can be used for some output purpose. So it is very diffuse form, that is its drawback. Then a solar power plant does not pollute anything. There is no ash, no CO2, nothing. So it is free from any kind of pollution. Next, the solar energy is renewable kind of solar energy source, because daily we get a solar energies. But at the same time, it having a drawback that solar power plant only work in a day period. Everyone know why. because in night there is a deficiency of solar rays. So obviously in night period this plant cannot be worked. Maintenance cost is very less. That is the advantage, because once you install all the solar panel and every setup, then on the regular basis you have to require only cleaning of panels. That is your maintenance work, or some kind of lubrication in a rotating parts. That is the only maintenance work. So maintenance cost is very less, but it depends on two conditions: geometric condition. So just like in an area, in a region, in a country where there is a sufficient exposure of sunlight, so you can have that solar power plant. But the country where there is not that much intensity of solar energy in even daytime, then this plant cannot be worked there. Secondly, it depends on season. Even though in India, in Maharashtra, so in summer season we get a sufficient intensity solar energy, but in rainy season, cloudy atmosphere, so solar power plant cannot work with a full efficiency there. Correct. So that is its drawback. Again, it required a very nominal skill personnel workers there, so their salary will be less, so total running cost will be less. And the next drawback, the highest drawback, is that it produces only DC current. So we have to convert into AC, because maximum our equipment work on AC. So we have to use adapter before we use the solar energy to run any equipment. Okay, so these are the some advantages and disadvantages.